Mic'd up.
All right, everybody. Welcome to our weekly podcast, Yankees Coast to Coast or Coast to Coast Yankees. I was told I keep changing my mind. It's a woman's prerogative. Anyhow, I'm your host this week, Michael Miller, as my partner in crime, Adam Schneider, is attending the 70th birthday party for one of the nicest people to ever wear a Yankee uniform, Roy White, one of my coaches from Yankee Fantasy Camp. Believe it or not, they actually invited me to that party as well, but I'm in California, which is probably why they invited me, knowing I wasn't going to be in New Jersey. And I'm here this week with my two brothers, and I'm not exactly sure how that happened. You met Richard last week. He lives in New Jersey, the father of two girls, and also my son, my alleged son, Matthew. He was last week with us, and I mistakenly invited him to come back. However, Richard, you should know we got some feedback about you last week. People are worried about you. The guys from the management team at Mic'd Up said they're worried that you smile too much. They want to know about your mental health.
I had to get through our childhood somehow.
And I said, trust me, his mental health is a major issue. And then this week we have the brother with the seven-finger forehead. That's my brother Todd, who lives in Rockland County. And he's in New York. He's the father of two girls and allegedly the father of my son, Max. And Todd, why the hell did you agree to join us this week after watching Richard last week?
I have no clue. I must have been drunk when I agreed to it.
Well, I know that mom had to be drunk to the idea of having you as a kid, so that works out well. So anyhow, today our plan is to do a couple of things, and we'll try and keep our wits about us and not talk over each other. But our plan is to discuss current events in the hot stove, Yankees and otherwise, including a little bit more discussion with regard to the Juan Soto trade and his press conference regarding his contract status and what he wants to do as a hitter in Yankee Stadium. And then we'll talk about some other things, including some trades and some other things that happened on Yankee Hot Stove on Yes last night. And then we'll start talking about Monument Park, who should be there that's not there, who's there that doesn't belong, and then, of course, everybody's favorite thing, A-Rod. And should A-Rod be in or A-Rod be out, especially since he seems to have be coming hat in hand with asking about it. So, Heckle and Jekyll, what do you think about the Soto press conference and his comments about the contract status?
They know where to find me?
They know where to find me.
No, they know where to find. They know who to call.
Yeah, they know who to call. Yes, they know who to call. Ghostbusters. So, yeah, I mean, he said that he's thrilled to be here, of course. Comes here with a chance to win, plays next to Judge. He's still going to maintain his own position in right field. So he's in the best of both worlds. If the Yankees get, a typical player's walk year results where he does really well, Yankees should have a really good chance of making it through the playoffs this year and not be eliminated in the first round by the Astros.
Well, they didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a step up even if they get to that first round.
Well, it's a crapshoot according to Brian Cashman. So
no, the playoffs are a crapshoot.
Right,
the regular season is not
so
a crapshoot.
Getting through it would be different.
But at the same time, if everybody remembers when he first got to San Diego after the trade, he stunk to join up.
That was mid-season, wasn't it?
It was just for the first half of his time on the first season there. Yeah.
Right. So, a Jason Giambi thing. And if, how's he going to handle
getting booed?
New York press, and if he stinks it up the first month and he gets booed, how's he going to handle it?
I think he'll be okay. Stan's going to take most of the booing, I think.
Yes, I think that is his job.
That's
why they pay him $30 million.
He's the they only pay him 22 out of the 30, and he's 27. The designated boo receiver.
Yes.
So, and what about what he said about what it's going to be like in hitting in Yankee Stadium and the short porch? Did you guys see any of that?
I didn't see it.
Oh,
he just said I can't.
Yeah, it's same thing. It's just he wants to keep with his approach, and he thinks every player who hits a bunch of home runs thinks that they're a line drive hitter, but he does go to left center a lot, which should benefit him for extra bases. I don't know about home runs, but if he maintains that approach and he gets his pull swings in, he still should have a better year.
Well, he only had one home run when they measured it. He lost, or he would have gained one home run, I think it was, if he played in Yankee Stadium last year. My biggest concern is when the Yankees get a hold of these clowns, they seem to say, pull the ball, pull the ball, pull the ball.
Hit it hard.
Everybody except Paul O'Neill, Teixeira, Gallo, who was a pull hitter, they said pull it more. Rizzo, pull it more. And I'm really concerned that the Yankees are going to get their hands on him and screw him up.
That is definitely their procedure the last few years.
Well, who's their hitting coach this year? I don't know, somebody I never even heard of.
Rowland. It's a guy who was with the Yankees in the minors with Judge while he was making his way through the minors. So hopefully this works. But I'm just concerned the Yankees in there. Pull the ball, pull the ball, pull the ball.
Yeah.
There is no shift, so pull the ball, which,
that doesn't mean anything.
Made a difference for Corey Seager. It made a huge difference last year, but that was expected.
Right. So, it's because, Stanton, has the highest exit field.
Yes, because that makes all the difference. You hit it once every 10 at bats. That's what happens.
10 at bats, we wish.
No, he hit about 100 hitter. So, and then, of course, there's been no news on the pitching front. Everybody's waiting for Yamamoto.
No, he's going to the Dodgers, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's fine. But, I thought it was funny today. Somebody put up a joke that said Yamamoto was on a plane to Toronto, which was really funny.
So he is going
I forgot who did it, but I thought it was a really funny comment. It did crack me up. But, on the pitching front for the Yankees, they should try and get Yamamoto. He's 25. The Mets are going to drive up the price. The Dodgers are going to drive up the price.
Yep.
The other guys that are out there, Imanaga, who's going to be 30. He's a lefty. He doesn't walk anybody ever. And then the closer, the Yuki Matsui. They should sign him just because his name is Yuki.
Name is Matsui, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he strikes out 31% of the players in the Japanese league, which is an amazing number for any league. And he's 27. The two of them combined will be less than the near $30 million that Yamamoto looks like he's going to get.
Right.
So on the pitching front, I think there's other options out there. Of course, Montgomery's still out there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Who said, was it yesterday or today, that he'd be willing to come back? Which, of course, he's going to say.
Right. Everybody should say it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the Dodgers just open up a whole can of worms by allowing all this deferred money? They could do that. Well, the big contracts, a lot of teams are going to start to do that.
Well, I think that's a Bobby Bonilla thing.
Bobby Bonilla, they paid him to get rid of him. There's a difference. They didn't pay him defer the money.
Bobby Bonilla, he had to sue to get his money, and he gets it for a few more years. But what
They're not hiring his number.
No, I don't think the Mets are.
No, they're just going to celebrate him every July 1st.
Which is good. They should celebrate. And he's only getting $1 million every year.
Right.
It's
more than I mean.
Ohtani's going to get 26. Was it 20?
Close to 30.
28?
2 million.
Somebody was talking on one of the talking head shows how it's not a great contract for Ohtani because present value comes out to $460 million.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's how they came up with the $46 million for the salary cap.
Right. So that it's baked in. That's where the $46 million. And he gets, I think, $38 a year after 10 years of getting $2 million. He gets $38 a year for 10 years.
Right.
But he does. It came out yesterday. He does have an opt out.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
If he sells the team, if the president is fired, or his translator, I think if his translator gets fired, I think he has an opt-out.
So if Andrew Friedman leaves the team, the owner is no longer the majority owner, or I think his translator is no longer is fired. His translator could leave on his own. Then Ohtani's allowed to go and opt out of his contract. It's an interesting little thing, and how would the deferred money work? If he's there for 3 years, does that mean he only gets 3 years of the deferred money? I don't know how that would work.
He gets whatever the average over 3 years was. What does he make? It 70 a year, so he gets $210 million.
Okay, so
and then he gets to go get a new contract.
Oh, $210 million! I don't know how he can live like that.
It's 45. Yeah. It comes out to I think 45,000 an inning.
That's assuming he pitches.
No, even whether he pitches or not.
Whether he pitches or not.
$70 million a year is
a game.
45,000 an inning
per whether he plays or not.
Yeah. Over 162.
So 162 times 9, no extra innings. That cuts into his pay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
so
with the man on second, there's usually not a lot of extra innings.
so he's gonna. So in essence, he's gonna make sure that no games go to extra innings, or he's gonna have to say, "I can't play. I'm not getting paid."
Something
Exactly.
like yeah.
I'd like to see that. Sorry, guys, I only played 9.
He's gonna
Yeah.
take his ball
So-
and go.
That would be pretty funny. So there is another thing that's on the horizon for the Yankees that has been relatively quiet.
The sun.
No, the fact that Cole has an opt out after this season.
Yes. I think it comes down to what if they get the Japanese pitcher and how much they're paying him.
Well, is he still the highest paid pitcher in baseball right now?
But now that the Dodgers basically
about-
destroyed the integrity of the luxury tax with this deferral.
Hey, they didn't break any rules. I'm all in favor.
They
of
didn't break
whatever
any
they did.
rules, right? But
Right.
they destroyed the integrity. So now again, it's going to favor, and that's as Yankee fans, all we're going to hear is how the Yankees are able to pull off all these trades versus like the Indians and the Rays,
Guardians.
Who?
The
What team
Guardians.
was that?
the
The
Guardians.
movie Major League.
Sorry, I'm old. So, so that's how the Yankees are able to pick up all this deferred money and not think twice about it.
Well,
So.
Scherzer and Verlander make more than Cole.
Yes.
And Ohtani, we don't know what
that doesn't count.
So didn't they something like 2 years, 86 or some ridiculous money?
Yeah,
for
something
Verlander?
ridiculous. I think he's close to 40 a year. Yeah.
Yeah, he's over
And they're
40.
both undone after this year. So.
Yeah, they're both after this year. They're both free agents because that would be the third year of the Scherzer contract and the second year of the Verlander contract. That might be incentive for Cole not to go out on the market, although he may go out on the market saying, "I'm better than those guys."
Yes, I'm better than those guys, and I'm 10 years younger.
Not 10.
Well, a Verlander he is, right?
Yeah, probably. So so the Yankees made the trade this week. They traded. So they did the Dodgers a favor after the Ohtani signing. The Yankees did the Dodgers a favor.
We should hang the banner now.
The Dodgers didn't have room on their 40-man, so they had to dump 2 guys off their 40-man to get Kelly and Ohtani onto their 40-man. So the Yankees took a prospect, the second baseman named Jorobit Vivas, and a left-handed reliever named Victor Gonzalez. Now, I will say this: Yanks do need a left-handed reliever who will sit at the end of the bullpen. He's better than Nick Ramirez. And granted, it was a half a season, but the Dodgers did win the World Series in the COVID year. And in the playoffs, Victor Gonzalez was very good for them in the playoffs in the COVID season.
Everybody played the same amount of games in the COVID season. It counts.
Right. It definitely counts. But Victor Gonzalez was good that year. He hasn't been as good since. And the Yankees have a habit of taking these lefty relievers. Even Nick Ramirez was much better with the Yankees than he was with anybody else. And clearly, Peralta was a steal from the Giants for Tauchman. I couldn't believe. Do you remember when the Yankees traded Tauchman for Peralta and everybody was all in a
everybody was all
But I was like, you guys are out of your mind. It's the one guy they got rid of at the right time.
Exactly.
So, but they gave up this prospect, Trey Sweeney, who wasn't on the Yankees 40-man, but he only has a couple of more years before he's got to be on the Rule 5, and Sweeney's got a couple of guys behind him.
Above him, too.
And a couple of guys in front of him as well, and Volpe and Peraza. So, they gave up a player who's pretty good, but Vivas and Sweeney seem to have very similar stats. They're low strikeout, high contact guys. Vivas seems to have a little bit more pop, but there's nothing much difference between them. And Vivas has played a little bit of outfield in the minors and a little bit of third base.
I could hear Sterling's home run call right now.
Oh, God.
For which? For
Vivas.
Vivas, Las Vegas.
It'll either be Vivas, Las Vegas, or Vivas, New York, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got it written down, ready to go.
Viva la Vivas.
Viva la Vivas. There you go. Live in La Vivas Loca.
Yes.
There you go. Next year, too.
We're going to be coming back to that one. Oh, my God.
He's writing notes. He's listening, right? Isn't he listening?
Yes, I'm sure he's
Sterling's listening.
Yes. And Susan, too, I'm sure.
My goodness.
We'll see what happens. Uh-oh. We got a problem.
Who's that?
Oh, Schneider's brother, Steven, has sent me pictures that I'm supposed to look at. I'm like, what am I going to do with these things? Come on, Steven. What am
Why
I
are you
going to do
sending
with
you
this
naked
picture?
pictures
You're
of
out of your
yourself?
freaking mind, man. I can't put
Hopefully he's
picture.
dressed. Hopefully he's dressed.
Hopefully stressed. Yeah.
Yeah, well. Oh, by the way, the feedback. So, Steven, you got some feedback too since you're listening. The feedback was that you have the biggest head they've ever seen on Mic'd Up. Just so you know.
Well,
Although
he
when
was
Todd's sitting forward,
close
he's
to
going
the
to give you a
camera.
run for the money. There you go. So yeah, I mean the Yankees could do lots of stuff now with the Soto contract, but Boris is going to let him go to free agency.
Boris ain't signing early.
What'd you say?
Boris is not going to let him sign early.
I think he's had one player sign early in his contract year in the history of his top players. So
it would have to be close to Ohtani money and deferrals for him to sign early.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get 460 million or 700 million, however you want to do the math. I was told there'd be no math, and George Bush would call it voodoo economics. But I don't.
That's why Todd's here.
Pardon me?
That's why
I'm
Todd's
here. Do the math. Even though I'm not good at it. Out of school.
You're the accountant. Wait a minute. You're the accountant, and you're saying that Todd's here to do the math? He knows high school math.
Barely.
Really? I got to use a computer and a calculator.
Everybody uses a calculator now.
I use my fingers and my toes. I can only get to 18.
You can't see your toes.
I can see my toes. Listen, one of you can't see your toes, and it's not Todd. So
I bet you're more than me now.
But between the three of us, neither one of us can see past our noses, so don't worry about it. And then you have the Giants. They signed Young-Ho Lee, the guy I wanted the Yankees to sign, but I'm fine with Soto. And the Giants can't seem to give away their money.
No, they supposedly offered very close to $700 million.
No, the Giants came out and said that Ohtani's people came to them and said, "This is the deal. Will you make it?" And the Giants said yes, which was the same deal that he signed with the Dodgers. So he chose the Dodgers over the Giants. So the Giants said, "Yeah, we would have made that deal. We told them we'd make that deal."
Why does nobody want to play for the Giants?
I don't know. As a pitcher, I would go there in a second because
Buster,
worse
says it's because there's a drug problem in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what somebody said that. Buster Posey.
Yeah, I said
the one who said that nobody wants to play in San Francisco because of the homeless and the drugs.
They could all live in Pleasanton and then just commute.
Hey, I'm in a secret location. Don't give it away.
I didn't say you were in Pleasanton.
He's in the Batcave.
Down in California.
He's in the Batcave. Yeah, it's just as a pitcher, it'd be the best place. Except, I guess, if you're worried about your win-loss record, but they don't worry about that anymore.
Nobody worries about wins and losses.
They should.
Yeah.
No,
but, if you're a relief pitcher, but even if you're a relief pitcher, your ERA will be decent, and you're not giving up home runs.
Right. ERA should be meaningful for a relief pitcher. They're coming in and pitching one inning, and none of them come in the middle of innings anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But winning, it should mean something for a starting pitcher, because if your team scores 10 runs, you could save the bullpen and give up 6. That's okay. You don't stay in the game. Save the bullpen, give up 6. So your ERA should be nothing.
I threw 75 pitches. Leave me alone.
Well, that's what they say nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, wait till you see with some of the stats when we go through the Monument Park thing. It's very funny looking at the complete game numbers for some of those old timers. Right. I got caught up in it because I was like, oh my God, look at all those games.
The last one to throw probably more than 4 in a year is Mike Mussina.
Probably. I don't think he did.
Pitcher. He did as a Yankee a couple times, probably.
So I did catch part of the Hot Stove Show on Yes yesterday. Don't ask me how. But it pissed me off. It really did.
Because they didn't mention the webcast?
Well, then it pissed me off twice. You're right. They didn't mention this. But they're talking about moving Peraza because he needs a change of scenery because he didn't perform. And I'm thinking to myself,
that happens to guys sometimes.
Well, you take your pills, you'll be fine, Todd.
Yeah.
I mean, you are in your nice, pretty pink room, so it goes well with your little blue pill.
Yes.
Oh man, I do want to ask you guys something. Well, I got you here, okay? And
no, they're not our kids.
They're not
kids.
How did we get girls?
My theory, Mr. 18-finger forehead and Mr. Yarmulke bald spot. Not to mention how much gray hair you guys have compared to me, who I am going gray, by the way. Despite the fact that you guys accused me of dyeing my hair.
You were on that commercial with Keith Hernandez.
I am Keith Hernandez. Anyhow, my question is this: is what the hell's going on with you guys? Is it because you have daughters that this hair problem you have?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You think so?
I don't hesitate from saying that at all, and I bring you up saying you had 2 sons, supposedly, and don't have any gray hair.
Well, they're not really mine.
Maybe you don't have any gray hair because they're not really your kids.
That's what I think.
Yeah, but Dad had gray. Well, Dad didn't go gray either. It's because he adopted Todd.
No, he started going gray once he had granddaughters.
As soon as he had granddaughters. He started going gray when I moved away, and he was stuck with you 2 clowns.
No, that's when
I was out of the house before he moved away.
I was talking about across the country.
Again, he started smiling.
Yeah, I was already out of the house.
Started smiling. I'm sure moms and dad are sitting there listening and bickering as they listen. But
wait, there's people listening to this?
No, they're not. Their hearing aids aren't working. Dad needs to clean his hearing aids.
How do you know how many people are on?
They tell me after the fact sometimes.
Oh, you can't see?
I can't see, but I do know that about 19 people listen on YouTube when we put it on YouTube.
Oh, 19.
So that's pretty good. Well, I got you here, and we're talking about mic'd up and the stats. I do want to plug a show. The show that I want to plug today is Highlights from Lowlifes, since I've been playing golf a lot with Rob Weber, who is truly one of the lowlifes, along with Robbie Lanterman and Jeff Jones and Marty Brown.
Do we know these people?
A lot of people. Yeah, I play baseball with them, so you can know they're not athletes. But they are lowlifes. But their show's on Wednesday nights at, excuse me, I had to throw up a little in my mouth just plugging them. 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern on Mic'd Up. And their show is actually very entertaining. And as with our show, I suggest you participate by leaving them a message, because every week they have a top 5 list, because, they're half of Letterman. And they do that. And it's a terrific show, and they're a lot of fun.
Is it a golf show, a baseball show?
No, it's a sports, current events, pop culture type show.
So like every other sports talk.
We're not.
So basically, The Fan and ESPN Radio.
No, but they're actually more intelligent and funnier.
Well, that's
because
not hard.
They don't just take any Tom, Dick, and Harry and Mary and Susie's phone calls. So it's
unlike
they're
you,
really
who just
good.
take Tom, Dick, and Harry to come on and help you with the show.
Well, isn't that your name, Dick?
That came up last week.
Hey, clean show, family show.
Anyhow, getting back to Hot Stove, they pissed me off about Peraza. You got teams like the Mariners and you got teams like the Marlins that are looking to trade for a bat. Torres would get that job done. And if my position has stayed the same even before the Soto trade, with Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Volpe being better, Wells being better than any catcher hitter that they had last year, and DJ being hopefully what he was in the second half of last year, they could afford to lose the Torres bat and take a chance on Peraza and let him play. I'm just annoyed that the lack of patience is just killing me. And Florial's getting, he got screwed for how many years? He can't be on the roster anymore.
They burned him out. At least they didn't beat him up like they did Sanchez.
Well, Florial never got a real chance.
Right.
And he's certainly not going to get a chance this year unless Verdugo or
somebody gets hurt. Right.
Or no, he's not even. He's got no options. He's not going to be on the team.
Oh, he can't even be on the team, right?
Yeah, I mean, although Orlando Cabrera has right, Oswaldo Cabrera, he has options. He can go down. But with Grisham and Verdugo on the team, what do you need in the left-handed bat?
Yeah.
And Rorkefat's got an option, so he can go down because he's not going to be on the team. It's going to be Trevino and Wells. So, but there's no place for Florial. So, they're going to end up releasing him because they can't send him down.
Right.
And, he really never got a chance. But whatever.
No, that's all we heard about was how good he was going to be. So
I personally wouldn't have minded having him instead of Grisham as the extra outfielder. But, they had to take Grisham to get Soto, so
yep.
It is what it is. Maybe they'll teach Grisham how to swing the bat and not take so many pitches.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could definitely send Torres off to Seattle because Jose Caballero, I didn't take Spanish.
You took wasted French.
I wasted my time with French.
You can't speak French either.
French fries, French dressing,
French toast.
French
the
toast.
language of love. You know.
We were saying, what is this couple?
I don't even know anymore. We were mentioning all these food items.
Distraction.
French onion soup.
Yeah. So the Mariners would take a bat at second base and another. He's a Robbie Cano wannabe, so let's send him to second. Send him to play second base out in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean,
Is he going to start taking steroids?
I don't know. He's getting thicker and thicker every year and less athletic every year.
So I have more range than he does at second base.
No,
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, Rich is also getting fatter and fatter every year too. So,
but I mean, they look at the Mariners said that they would trade a guy like Bryce Miller. So,
is he related? Yes.
No, not if he's in the majors and has any talent or skill. He can't be related to us. So, and then the last but not least, there was also talk on Hot Stove last night about Roderick Arias being the next great prospect in the Yankee organization.
Who?
He was the 6th rated prospect, but then again, Dominguez and Pereira were ahead of him, so I guess he's now the 4th rated prospect. But him and a guy named George Lombard Jr., who are 18 and 19 years old last year, are the next big thing. And they're both supposedly going to be major league ready in the year 2027, which is a little bit late to replace both Torres and or LeMahieu.
Then Rizzo will be gone, and
Rizzo will be gone, and they'll need a first baseman by then, and we'll see what happens with that. But those were the other two guys they were talking about. But talking about these prospects that are going to be around in 2027, they're nice to have. But if you're not going to give him a chance, you're going to keep a guy like Torres around when he's got value, and you can't pay him $20 million, $25 million a year, which is what it looks like it's going to take to keep him. It's just ridiculous.
That's what the arbitration number is going to be for him?
It's going to be over 20.
Ugh.
And then his multi-year contract is going to probably, he's 28, so he's probably going to get a 7 or 8 year deal in the neighborhood of $200 million. There's no way you should sign a guy like that.
No.
So I do have a picture from Roy White's birthday party. Let's see if I can show it. You ready?
Send it to the app.
I can't send it to the app. The one guy who's got a green over his head is Roy White. But there he is. That's from the birthday party. I was invited to. And then there's our friend Adam Schneider is in that picture.
Yes.
That's nice. So,
the Yankees don't have a lot of infielders on their top prospects.
They have two
they
of
have
them
a handful,
in the top 6.
But not a lot.
They have 2 in the top 6 in Arias and Lombard. And you got to remember,
and after that,
Peraza and Volpe are up already.
Yeah. Then they got Tyler Hardman at third base is 15. Yeah, they have a lot in the team. Huh?
He's 15 years old?
No, he's actually 24 already, and he's in Double-A.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. 24-year-old Double-A is not doing anything.
Nope. Yeah, and he's there. He's ranked 15th. So, Rock Riggio, just for his name. I think it's a ball player's name. For 2026, he's 21. Jared Cerna, 21. So.
Well, Vivas is slotted in at number 10 now for the Yankees.
Ed Barkley. Ed Barkley Jr.? No.
He's a combination of Charles Barkley and Ed Begley Jr.
Ed Begley Jr.
Round mound of rebound and a very, very white man.
And they have an Anthony Hall. I wonder what his middle name is.
Michael.
So.
Well, he went from 16 candles to being a Yankee prospect.
Yes.
So anything else on current events you guys want to talk about?
Current? No, I think that covers it.
No.
It's just waiting to hear what happens to get the pitching market moving with Yamamoto. I mean, do we think he's coming Yankees, Dodgers, or Mets?
I think he's going to the Dodgers or the Mets.
I think he's going to the Dodgers.
I think he's going Dodgers.
If I had to bet, I would say it's the Dodgers unless the Mets do a Mets-like thing and offer him $35 a year.
Right. Well,
What makes you think they're going to do that? They haven't done it other than the two guys they got rid of last year. They're not going nuts with money anywhere.
I think for that they will.
I think the Mets are going to go nuts for money anytime they want.
Yes, because they're going to be.
You don't think he's going to run them like the Brewers?
No.
I don't think Cohn will let him.
No, because now the Mets didn't have the ability what the Yankees did. The Yankees, whenever they had a bad contract, other than Stanton, was able to eat it, send it off, and say bye-bye. But now,
what contracts have the Yankees sent off?
Well, they were always able to hide their mistakes. They were able to hide mistakes all these years. The last 20 plus years, whenever they had a bad contract, they took a bad contract, ate it, and moved on.
When did the Yankees ever release a guy before Hicks?
A-Rod.
A-Rod?
A-Rod. Okay.
The guy who wants his number retired.
The couple outfielders.
What outfielders?
What's his face?
That narrows it down.
Yes. What's his strikeout?
Ellsbury?
No, Ellsbury. They were able, right? And even if they had to hide these guys on their injured list, they were able to go out and get something to pick it up. Whereas now the Mets could do that, where they never would have before.
The Mets did a much better job last year in dumping their bad contracts than the Yankees ever did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. They didn't wait.
They didn't wait, and they got two prospects who were in the top 25 of Major League Baseball.
They got rid of Rob.
And Joey Gallo. No. Joey Gallo.
Well, Yankees got beater for Joey Gallo. We'll see if that works out.
Yeah. The fact that they got anything above a empty bag of balls for Joey Gallo.
An empty bag of balls. If there was,
it just sounds like Rich has a personal. It sounds like Rich has a personal problem when he says that.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's where his wife keeps him away.
Oh, which one?
Unbelievable. I have no comment on that. All right. So let's switch over to Monument Park, where maybe Dad, who might be listening, might give a hoot a little bit more.
Family show.
I made it to
you blew it this week.
I made it to the 5th show before I almost really cursed.
Well, you did it. We heard it.
I know. So a little history for those of you who are not Yankee fans. The center field fence at the original Yankee Stadium in 1923 was how many feet away? You guys have a guess?
Left field or center field?
Center.
Center was 460?
500 feet.
And back then, people actually used to hit it out.
No, they didn't.
Not there.
Not there. And then the flagpole, like it was in every stadium back then, was on the field.
That I knew.
Yeah, the flagpoles are there. And then in 1932...
Unless you watch The Natural.
True. In 1932, a headstone monument was put up next to the flagpole for Miller Huggins. Because he died suddenly in 1929.
And that was on May 30th.
Was it?
Yes.
Or was that when Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place?
No, that was November 5th. That was November something.
November 13th.
That's a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Anyhow, in 1936, the fence was moved into 461 feet. And the monument remained in play. And then in 41, the Lou Gehrig tombstone was put up and the Babe Ruth tombstone was put up. And they were all on the field. Interestingly enough, and
wait a second, Babe Ruth was not. Wait a minute, Babe Ruth did not have a tombstone at the same time as Lou Gehrig.
No, 41 was Gehrig and 49 was Ruth.
Okay. It's after he dies.
Yes.
Well, we should have asked Dad this because allegedly the kids growing up in New York thought they were all buried out there.
Yes.
Didn't Dad say he went to Babe Ruth's funeral?
Twice. Oh, we went to like both Babe Ruth days and the funeral.
Okay. Whatever. But, the kids used to think that they were there. They did that. And then in 1976, when the stadium reopened, Monument Park was created beyond the fence. So there is a joke out there, and not surprisingly, it's from your friend Casey Stengel, Rich.
Yes.
There was a ball hit out to center field and went over past the center fielder's head. And Casey Stengel yelled out from the dugout, Ruth, Gehrig, Huggins, somebody get the ball back to the infield. He was talking to the tombstones. I don't know about that one.
Where's the joke?
It's the joke. It's Casey Stengel. And then I believe I was at this game, which is the game where Harmon Killebrew hit a ball over Bobby Mercer's head into the monuments, and Mercer was skipping back and forth through the monuments to try and find the ball. This is in the old stadium before 76. And Harmon Killebrew, who was not a small man, wide as a house, rumbled around the bases for an inside the park home run. And I don't know, but I think I was at that game for some stupid reason. So
Well,
anyhow, in 1976,
your brother Rich thinks he was at the last game at the old stadium also.
I was
no, I was there.
No, you were at the old stadium in 2008. You were at the last game of
No,
that.
I was at the old
there with you.
stadium. I was at the old stadium in '73. Probably have the ticket stub somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
This is a conversation you guys have every Thanksgiving, isn't it?
It was on Hanukkah this year.
Oh, it's on Hanukkah this year? Oh, happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Yes, last night.
So anyhow, in 76, when the stadium reopened, center field and left center field were 417 feet. In 85, it was moved to 410 feet. But Monument Park was not opened in 76 when the stadium reopened. It was not open to the fans. So the monuments were back there, and nobody got to see them. In 1985, that's when Monument Park opened for the first time. And then in 2009, the new stadium opened. It was a big, enlarged, open area behind the left center field fence. And it's open for 2 hours before the game, closing 45 minutes before the first pitch of every game. And then any Yankee Stadium tour that you go on, you can go out to Monument Park and see the plaques, the very large George Steinbrenner
Poster
statue, which if you stand behind the statue and take a look, it looks like Steinbrenner standing in front of a urinal. Anyhow,
no, that he doesn't have a urinal, that he needs one.
He doesn't need one anymore. So, but what's funny is it used to be that the monuments were visible from the field, from the stands in before 85. But now you can't really see Monument Park from the field during the game, which is why it probably should still be open during the game, because it doesn't distract from the people.
Yeah, it's behind the screen.
It's behind the screen, and it's below the fence, and
yeah.
So there's 37 Yankees that have been immortalized out there. 22 have their numbers retired, and there's now 6 monuments in Monument Park: Huggins, Gehrig, Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, and of course George Steinbrenner.
At the urinal.
Do you guys know who the only non-Yankee player?
Jackie Robinson.
Bingo.
And the Pope.
Good job.
What about the Pope?
No, he's
the
not
Pope
a player.
has a plaque.
Well, there are.
There's also monuments to
there are six other plaques out there that are not baseball related, 4 of which are for people, for one person per plaque. Do you know who those are for?
But not for players?
They're not players.
There was 9/11 memorial plaque.
That's for more than one person. 9/11 is one of them.
Mel Allen, Bob Shepard.
No, Bob Allen and Bell Shepard have regular plaques.
Oh, you talk about the monument.
Non-baseball related things.
Monument, not the plaque.
They have a plaque. They don't have, well, it's a monument, a plaque. They don't have a tombstone. They have something out there.
The Pope has one.
There's 3 popes. Pope Paul VI, Pope John Paul II, and Pope Benedict XVI.
They all came to Yankee Stadium?
What?
They all came to Yankee Stadium?
That's exactly why they have them. They all did a mass at Yankee Stadium.
At the same time?
I'm
Jewish. What do I know?
Well, the fact that you don't know anything has nothing to do with you being Jewish. That's just you.
Yes. That's a
So do you guys know who the other 2 things? One is a person, and one is an anniversary of an event.
One is a person.
Mm-hmm. I see you clicking there, Rich, to cheat.
Yes, exactly.
You're looking at the Google machine, I imagine.
The Google machine, the Wikipedia.
Yeah, because everything on Wikipedia is true, just like
exactly.
TikTok.
They have mistakes here. I could see it in their thing.
There isn't one for. No, it wasn't for Billy.
See, at least Todd's making believe he's thinking by scratching his
chin.
He's
scrolling also.
Hands up. Time's up. You guys really have no clue?
I've probably seen it 1,000 times. What is it?
Nelson Mandela.
I should have known that one.
And then one that the NHL will never let happen, a plaque commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Inn Uprising.
Yes.
Sparked the modern day LGBT movement. So the NHL, who won't let the players, won't even let the players wear their pride uniforms.
Yeah, they're not allowed to wear their pride uniforms anymore.
And they weren't even allowed to wear their cancer helmets.
I thought for the warm-ups they could put the tape on their sticks now. They brought it back.
No, they can't.
No,
I thought they're allowed to do something now, but they're not. They won't do the warm-up jerseys anniore. I think they're allowed tape on their sticks.
And then they had the goaltender was fined for wearing his pink cancer survivor helmet.
Yes.
Which, the NHL's out of its gourd.
Well, he's the worst commissioner.
Well, they're doing better than they used to, but he's not a good commissioner. All right, here's the list of the Yankee players who went to the Hall of Fame as Yankees, but don't have a plaque in Monument Park. You ready? They're Hall of Famers. 12 years. Here's one. Ready? 12 years as a Yankee. Tony Lazzeri doesn't have a plaque. He played on 5 World Series winners. He had a lifetime 293 average, 847 OPS, and 12 years as a Yankee. Went in as a Yankee, not in the Hall of Fame. Jack Trosborough was a Yankee from 1903 to 1909, so you guys remember that.
Were they the Yankees?
Or the Highlanders?
I don't know. But he had a 128-93 record, which is an interesting to keep in mind when we start talking about Catfish Hunter and David Cohn and Andy Pettitte. So you got those guys, and he had 200. This is where it got fun for me. 227 starts, 168 complete games. He's 12th all-time in pitching WAR as a Yankee and 5th all-time in ERA and 12th in wins. Wade Hoyt went into Cooperstown as a Yankee, was a Yankee for 10 seasons, went to 6 World Series as a Yankee, won 3 of them, 157 and 98 record. 276 starts, 156 complete games. That was just a fun stat for me.
I want to know why some of these guys are in the Hall of Fame even.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. You ready? Herb Pettitte was a Yankee from 1923 to 1933. 11 years as a Yankee, 162 and 90. 4 World Series winning teams, 5 World Series altogether.
162 and 90 as a Yankee or
as a Yankee. These are all Yankees. 162 and 90. The reason I'm doing it as a Yankee is because of the fact that we told these other guys, right? Joe Gordon, second baseman, 1938 to 1946, 11 major league seasons, 7 as a Yankee. He missed 2 years of his Yankee career because he was in the military. So he would have had 9 as a Yankee, but he was in the military for 44 and 45. He was on 5 World Series teams and won 4, and they missed the playoffs the 2 years he was in the military, which I found amusing. Here's the one that I think deserves a plaque. Out of all of these guys, I don't know much about him other than I had the 1927 Yankees in Stratomatic. Earl Coombs. He was a Yankee from 1924 to 1935, 12 seasons in the majors, all as a Yankee. Had a 325 lifetime batting average, a 397 on-base percentage, a 462 slugging, a 125 OPS plus, 4 World Series appearances, 3 winners. He hit 375 in the World Series with a 500 on-base percentage and a 901 OPS. He was better in the World Series than regular season, and yet he doesn't even have a plaque out there. This is the one guy that I'm like, of all the old-timers, I've obviously never seen them play, but this guy deserves a plaque. This guy was a stud.
He was overshadowed by the 2 people, by Ruth.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Right, but still, it's, that's pretty good freaking stats.
It is pretty good stats.
And it was a Yankee for his entire career. It's just wrong.
Why don't you petition the Yankees for that when you go to
now here's some old-timers that are not in the Hall of Fame, but did have good Yankee careers. And I just want to give you a reference. Allie Reynolds is in Monument Park.
Yes. He
played 8 years as a Yankee. He was 131 and 60 as a pitcher, but he did relief. He was a relief pitcher also. All right. He had 96 complete games out of 209 starts. He played on 6 World Series winners during 8 years and 8 World Series. He had 5 All-Star games, a 7-2 record with 4 saves in 15 games, all and 9 starts with regard to his playoffs, which is really World Series records. Okay. So here's just some quick old timers that are not Monument Park that people don't know who they are. Eddie Lopat, 5 World Series in a row ending in 1953, 113 and 59. 318 starts, 164 complete games. Vic Raschi, 6 World Series winners in 8 years as a Yankee, 120 and 50 as a record. 99 complete games and 207 starts. Bill Moose Skowron, 9 years as a Yankee, 7 times he went to the World Series, won 4 of them. 282 as a Yankee, 5 years as an All-Star. Frank Crissetti, more Yankee championships than any player that ever played for the Yankees, more than Barrett. 17 years in the league, 17 years all as a Yankee, 2 All-Star teams, 9 World Series teams, 8 winners. He wasn't very good. What?
What was his years?
He was on the same teams as Barra for a lot of those years. That's why him and Barra have the most. Barra, of course, has a couple extras as manager. All right. So the other one that's not in the Hall of Fame that people talk about is Don Larson. Really, Don Larson was only 45 and 24 as a Yankee. He's not Hall of Fame worthy. His accomplishment is Hall of Fame worthy.
Right.
And it's all over the Hall of Fame. But he's not worthy of a Monument Park plaque.
No.
But they should put something in there that says Don Larson pitched a perfect game in the World Series.
That one game is worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they celebrated it how many times between?
Correct. They should celebrate the game, put a plaque for the game.
Like they do in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So, yeah. A lot of the old-timers from Yankee fantasy camp say Don Larson was one heck of a nice guy. So, I never met him.
You would have made him a lousy guy.
Well, I would have turned him into a lousy guy.
Yes.
All right, so here's Hall of Famers. These are players that we might know. Ready? We're getting some more modern-day players here. Hall of Famers that we know because, I know them because I'm older than you. But Catfish Hunter was a Yankee from 75 to 79, their first big free agent signing, right? He was only 63 and 53 as a Yankee. He had 11 shutouts. Was on 2 World Series winners.
He had a bunch of didn't he have like 20 complete games one year?
Well, not with the Yankees, but yeah.
I thought with the Yankees he had one like crazy year.
He doesn't deserve his number retired.
Does deserve his number retired, doesn't deserve a plaque.
No. He had 65 complete games as a Yankee in 136 starts. So maybe he did have that many. I can look him up real quick, but I'm not going to.
He completed every other game. That's nice.
Yeah. He had 11 shutouts, but he was their first big free agent signing that they had.
Yes.
So
I thought Andy Messersmith was.
No, well, Andy Messersmith didn't go to the Braves. He didn't go to the Yankees.
I thought he came for like a year and got hurt.
They thought he was going to be. So now the next one up, and this is the interesting one to me. Ready? Mike Mussina. 10 years with Baltimore, 8 with the Yankees, but he's in the Hall of Fame. He was 123 and 72 as a Yankee. 248 starts. 5 and 7 in the playoffs. No World Series, as Todd pointed out. 10th all time in pitching WAR, above replacement. 13th all time in wins as a Yankee. 15th in innings pitched and 7th in strikeouts.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No. No.
Okay.
Those were not. Listen, he averaged 13 wins a year, no World Series. He had one 20-win season, then he quit. It's fine.
Can we go back? Can we go back to Hunter for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. When did he come to the Yankees?
75.
Right. His first year with the Yankees, 328 innings, 30 complete games.
There you go.
That's not a bad season.
Yeah, that was the same time that Billy Martin was over in Oakland when he had the 4 pitchers had over 20 complete games.
Yes.
Langford, Morris, McCarthy.
That wasn't that year.
That was in the 70s. Or was that in the 80s? Who was the 4th guy?
Eckersley? No, he was a reliever.
Eckersley was a reliever on these. I forgot who the 4th guy was.
No, Eckersley became a reliever under La Russa.
For the A's?
For the A's. He was on the Cardinals. So.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So next up, Dave
Wherever
Whitfield.
he was.
Dave Whitfield.
Mr. Meg.
9 years out of his 22-year career, he was a Yankee. 1 playoff team. And he lost the World Series. Lifetime average as a Yankee, 290. 356 on base, 495 slugging. OPS plus of 134, which means 100 is break even. Made 8 All-Star teams, 5 Gold Gloves, 5 Silver Sluggers. 17th best slugging percentage of any Yankee all time, 15th all time in home runs, and 14th in OPS plus. And George Steinbrenner did sick a guy on him to try
and he got George Steinbrenner. George Steinbrenner was suspended because of him.
Yeah.
So no.
Why no? Well, you're so quick with no. What's your reasoning?
I'm a very strict grader.
Yeah. Well, that's the exact opposite. Me as a college professor, I look me up.
Wait,
I'll
I'm
rate
very
my
easy when it comes
professor
to that.
at Diablo Valley College, and you'll see what my rating is. My rating's very good, but I'm not very difficult. They rate you. I don't know what they do with high school teachers, but for college professors, they give you a rating of 0 to 5 as far as good and bad, and then 0 to 5 as far as difficulty. And my goal is to be a 2.7 difficulty, just to be just above easy. I can't get there. All right, Wade Boggs, I don't think he deserves to be in a Yankee. No. I mean, unless you want to put him on a horse out there.
Yeah.
No. Ricky Henderson.
No.
As much as I would like to say yes, he's a no.
27 years in baseball as a player, 5 years as a Yankee. Doesn't remember any of his teammates.
5 years as a Yankee makes it right away not enough.
In 5 years as a Yankee, 4 years he led the league in steals. He was an all-star every year. 27th best WAR of any Yankee ever, which in 5 years, that's pretty impressive. 11th best on-base percentage of any Yankee all time.
The only one his hamstring didn't bother him.
Second all-time in stolen bases and 12th in OPS plus. But yeah, I agree. All right, so here's guys, and this we're going to start with the birthday boy. All right, these are guys. These are going to be modern era guys that we're going to know. And we're
Is he considered a modern era?
Yes, he's considered the modern era. For me, he is. Wise ass. All right, you ready? Roy White.
Yes.
Why yes? Just because it's his birthday?
Yes. No, I mean, up until like recently, what do you have? 200 and some odd home run, 240 home runs as a Yankee? Somewhere around there?
Well, just so you know, his WAR is 46.9 for his career, which is the 11th all time.
As a Yankee, you mean? 11th as a Yankee.
Yeah, 11th of all as a Yankee. He played 15 years as a Yankee. 271 average, 360 on base percentage, 404 slugging. That would make him a $25 million a year player today.
Yes,
Easy.
exactly.
He won 3 AL championships and 2 World Series. He's 7th all time in games played, 13th in runs scored, 11th in hits, and 6th in stolen bases.
Was he a lifetime Yankee?
Yes.
Lifetime. Never played anywhere else.
Yes.
Yes. Now
I think he's hurt. I think he's hurt just because of the years he played for the Yankees. Those first 7 years of his career when the Yankees were just ridiculously bad.
Are we talking about we're not retiring his number since it's already retired anyway.
No.
Right, his numbers retired
for somebody else.
Right.
So, yeah, you could have a Roy White day.
Well, they definitely should have they had a Jake Gibbs day. You know that, right?
No.
Okay, so Jake Gibbs tells this story. It's a great story. He was friends with Johnny Blanchard and Hank Bauer, and I forgot, maybe Tommy Tresh. I don't remember who it was, but there was a guy who didn't have a day at Yankee Stadium, and they had a Jake Gibbs day at Yankee Stadium. And Jake is by far the lowest batting average player to ever have a day at Yankee Stadium. But he said he used to hold it over his buddies' heads all the time, and it used to drive them crazy.
Wait, were there fans there? Was this during a fantasy camp?
No, it was an actual game, Wises. And by the way, one of you guys has my Jake Gibbs bat that I needed to get signed by him when I went on vacation with him in South Carolina.
You know where it is? I think.
Or North Carolina.
I know it is. I think it's in the garbage pail in Mom and Dad's basement.
No, it's not. The Ron Bloomberg bat was there, and I got that one signed.
No, the one with the white tape is I think that's Jake Gibbs.
It was a bat day bat, the Jake Gibbs bat.
Was it? Oh, then it's probably garbage. We probably used it and broke it.
No, the Danny Cater bat is the one I used and broke. Anyhow, all right, so next up is a guy who I think deserves a plaque, too. And talk about getting hurt by the teams being bad. Bobby Mercer.
Oh, absolutely.
Todd, you don't even know who Bobby Mercer is.
I know who Bobby Mercer is.
13 years as a Yankee. He also lost 2 years to military service. 4 All-Star seasons. He was 278, .349 on base, .453 slugging. Again, $25 million a year player today.
He was a
on
Yankee
some
Stadium player.
He was on some of the worst teams
Yes, he was.
ever.
Him and White, the worst teams.
He was everything for every Yankee fan while he played, and he was an announcer for all those years before he died.
Yes. So as a combo player and announcer.
Well, that's how Rizzuto got in.
And he was like the heart of the Yankees in the early 70s. And then when he came back, people were thrilled. He wasn't have to play. And just what he did on the Thurman Munson funeral day.
All right, so here's a comment from our friend Ezra von Mermenschwanz.
Hey guys, Ezra Mermelschwanz here to bring you holiday joy. Bobby Mercer deserves to be retired, but that pile of pus Billy Martin stole it from him. Put him in there. Not just give him a plaque. Anything. He was Mr. Yankee from 1970 to 1974. Do something for him. It's terrible that the Yankees have never put up a plaque and give him an honored day of some kind.
He sounds like a Melbourne Schwanz.
They bring his wife in for Old Timers Day at least.
Well, the thing is, you can't retire him because he was number 1 and he was number 2.
That's right. And those numbers can. Well, they have 42's retired twice.
So you retire 2 numbers for Bobby Mercer?
Twice too.
Yes, well, he deserves it because he was like the heart of the Yankees for so many years. He got burnt by Shea Stadium for the 2 years they were there. Or what was it? Did he play both years there, or did he only one?
74 and 75.
When did they get Bonds? Didn't they get Bonds in 75?
Was he 75?
Bonds never made it to the new stadium. That much I do know.
All right, so then he was there, and Bonds was only there for a year, I think.
2 years or 3. Bonds was really good when he was a Yankee, by the way.
Yes, he was, but
and then his son didn't want to play here, so
Bonds was only in the Yankees for 1 year, 75.
Right. So so they traded him to the Giants in after 74 when he didn't hit.
Yeah.
Bonds came. Guess he had so many friends in the clubhouse that they traded him away.
Yeah, after a 32 home run, 85 RBI, 30 stolen base season, with a 375 on base and a 512 slugging.
Jeez, who did they trade him for?
I don't remember.
It wasn't Rivers.
No, the Rivers trade was something different.
Yeah.
Not going to worry about it because we don't care. Bobby Bonds is not getting a plaque. Bobby Mercer should get a plaque. Now, here's another guy I think deserves a plaque. And it's
yes, it was.
What?
It was for Mickey Rivers. And Ed
Figueroa.
Yep.
So the Yankees did well in that trade. So this is a guy I think deserves a plaque there for sure. Gene Michael.
Yes. Even if it's just as a GM.
Well, it's only as a GM.
Built the team.
Yeah.
He built the team that, he built the core 4. He did all of that.
Especially when Steinbrenner wasn't allowed to touch it, made it easier. But yes.
Well, that's why he was allowed to do what he did.
Exactly.
I mean, he managed them in '81 when they actually made the playoffs, made the World Series and lost. And then in '90, he became the GM. I mean, it's ridiculous. He deserves a plaque. There's no way.
The builder of a dynasty.
Exactly. There's no way the Yankees do what they did.
Right.
Without him.
Exactly. Out of everybody that you mentioned so far, definitely him top. And then you do a double day with White and Mercer.
You can do both and just have Mercer's wife come out with Roy White.
Listen, they drag out Mercer's wife and Catfish's wife every Old Timers Day or whatever they're calling it.
They go to fantasy camp every year. They're very nice ladies. Don't say they get dragged out. They're very nice and
I'm sure, but it's like the Yankees live off of them and they don't honor the players right. So.
All right, so we got 2 that three we all agree on that should be in. That's pretty good so far.
Yes.
Who is the third?
Next up.
Who's the third?
Mercer. Michael.
White.
Mercer, Michael, and who else?
White.
Oh, right.
Roy White.
I'm not sure about the Roy White one, but okay.
Anyhow. Then, all right, next up, Greg
Happy
Nettles.
birthday to him, though, if he's listening.
He's 70, by the way. 70 years old, Roy White. Greg Nettles. 11 years as a Yankee, 4 World Series appearances. They won 2 of them. 5 All-Star games, 2 Gold Gloves, 2 top 10 MVPs. 253 average, 329 on base, 433 slugging, OPS of plus of 114. MVP of the ALCS in 81. And obviously had a ridiculous 1981 World Series, even though they lost. He led the league
81
in
World
homers.
Series? Wait, 81 World Series when he broke his thumb. It was the 78 World Series. He was unbelievable.
78, he was unbelievable. Well, he hit great in 81 before he got hurt.
Yeah.
He should have won the MVP in 78.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Bucky Dent. Brian Doyle. Brian Doyle deserved it more than Bucky Dent.
Brian Doyle deserved the MVP that series, followed by Nettles, yes.
Anyhow, so he led the American League in homers in 76. He had 250 homers as a Yankee, 834 RBIs. He's got the 8th best defensive WAR in Yankee history. And he's 11th all-time in home runs and 15th in RBIs. And
he's considered like the 3rd or 4th best fielding third baseman.
Among them, yeah.
Oh, great. The Dodgers just got Tyler Glasnow from the Rays.
Did they also get Manny Margot on the same trade?
It just says on a trade alert, Tyler Glasnow to the Dodgers. Breaking news here on the Coast to Coast Yankees podcast.
There you go. Breaking news. Todd, you're the breaking news guy. You're the breaking news guy, Todd.
No, you can't use that. Now I got to pay him.
Oh.
I'm Tyler Glasnow and Manny Margot for right-handed pitcher Ryan Peapot, outfielder Johnny DeLuca. But it's contingent upon them signing Glasnow to an extension, which is odd.
Why would he not do it?
Glasnow
other than tax purposes, why would you not do it?
Well, yeah, give him $30 million deferred. What's the big deal? So we broke news. Way to go, us. David Cohn.
No.
What do you guys think of Nettles? Let's go with Nettles. What do you think of Nettles?
See, I grew up as a Nettles fan.
Me too,
I number 9. I played third base. I think he, as you said, deserved. He was a Yankee captain.
Yes, he was.
Yes.
So a plaque would not be totally incorrect.
So he's on the board.
He should take over the number 9 for the guy who hasn't retired. That's for sure.
Yeah, he deserves more notoriety up as a Yankee, as a number 9 than the guy who had 2 good years as a Yankee, 2 great years as a Yankee. But yes.
All right. David Cohn played 7 of his 18 years as a Yankee, 81 and 51 lifetime.
4 World Series champions.
4 World Series championships, 6 postseasons.
He pitched for the Mets and the Red Sox. No.
6-1 postseason record as a Yankee. I don't think Cohn gets one unless he stays an announcer for 30 years.
Right, exactly.
But he left for part of the season to go do MLB Network or ESPN, didn't he?
ESPN. Well, that's not his fault.
Left for the money.
Yeah.
You can't blame a guy.
I don't think Cohn gets.
Lou Piniella.
No.
I love watching Lou play and fight and argue, but I don't know if he deserves one.
He was 224 and 193 as a manager, but he never made the playoffs. He did have
either to the Hall of Fame this year.
He was better in the postseason than he was in the regular season. He had 43 hits in 44 games.
One great catch, a lot of good fights.
Yeah.
No.
All right, you ready? Hideki Matsui.
No. What do you have? 6 years?
7 out of his 10 years were as a Yankee.
World Series MVP.
140 home runs, 597 RBIs, 292 average, 370 on base percentage, and a 482 slugging. His OPS plus was 123. Then you add to that, well, he played in the postseason almost every year. Yep. 312 in the postseason, up. 391 on base in the postseason, up. 541 slugging in the postseason, up.
Deserves it more than Posada.
He's a possibility. If they sign Yamamoto because of him, then yes.
Well, at least they said now they're finally going to bring him out. Him and Tanaka, they're going to bring them out to talk to Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Originally, they said they weren't going to. So I when I went through the numbers, like, well, that's pretty freaking impressive, especially his postseason. because then we get to a guy like Robinson Cano who went backwards in the postseason.
We could just skip over him.
You want to skip over him?
Don't go
Skip
through
over
Cano's stats. No, we don't need Cano.
Skip over him. No.
What I want to tell you though is he hit, ready, 309 in the regular season, 222 in the postseason.
That's enough.
No. That sounds like the Yankees today.
355 on base in the regular season, 267 on base in the postseason.
That sounds like all the Yankees today.
Yes, you should have just taken the steroids to the postseason. It would have been better.
Yes.
I went into this thinking Cano was going to be a guy other than PEDs that he would go in, but I looked at his numbers like, no, screw
he
him.
wasn't close. Listen, as much as I wasn't a Posada fan, as much as I'm one of the very few people who didn't love Bernie Williams, but I thought he was.
I think there's 3 of us on this TV on this screen.
I like Bernie Williams as a
player. I like
him.
I didn't love him. I liked him. I didn't love him.
Good.
But I'll take him and Posada in the postseason every time.
Okay.
Bernie, yes.
Except I still think he missed Posada missed that tag.
Well, that's because he didn't want to get run over. Ready? Next up, Sparky Lyle.
Yes.
That was quick. Why?
Just for the mustache. Just for the mustache alone.
Just for the mustache and his book.
He wasn't on the team. How many years was he on the team?
Actually,
he was in the Yankees. He was only on the Yankees for 7 years out of 18. But the best part of this was he wins the Cy Young Award in '77, and then the Yankees go sign Gossage.
That's Gossage, yes. And actually, if you read his second book, I remember reading his book, and it was like, it's all about I'm going to use computers to change the game. His whole book is like, I'm just going to look at stats and see how to handle everything. And I was like, well, that's where we are today. So he was ahead of his time.
Yes, he was. So he had 2 All-Star games, 3 World Series appearances. He had 141 saves as a Yankee. His team
more than one inning. Most of them were more than one inning.
Right. He pitched in 745 innings in 420 games as purely a reliever.
Yep.
And he was better in the postseason than he was in the regular season. His WHIP and his ERA went way down. He's 3rd all-time in ERA as a Yankee pitcher, behind only Gossage, who's 1st, and Rivera, who's 2nd. And he's 5th all-time in saves. I think Lyle deserves to be in there.
Lyle deserves, yeah. Yes.
All right, so now we're going to get to the last 2, which I know Rich has got a very strong opinion on one of them.
Gardner?
Brett Gardner.
No way.
Absolutely not. And Howie Ryder, if you're listening, you could just start saying stuff now.
Very overrated. Overrated. Garbage.
Most overrated, one-handed swinger.
No. Can we just move on?
I think
I want to go through his numbers because they're funny. You ready?
Funny.
14 years all as a Yankee.
1 World Series.
One World Series. 256 batting average. 342 on base, 398 slugging. I thought his on base and slugging were going to be higher.
I would have figured his on base was higher.
Horrible fielder, no matter anybody says. When you watch the game, you see all the balls in the corner, get past them in the corner. Horrible fielder, no matter what anybody says, if you watch them every day.
So his OPS plus was right at major league average for his career.
Average players don't deserve to have their number retired. Goodbye.
And then he had 1 Gold Glove while he was in center field. So I gave you his numbers in the regular season. You'll like this postseason, which he made pretty much every year, right? So he went from 256 to 211 in the postseason.
Yeah, no.
His on base went from 342 to 284 in the postseason, and his slugging went from 398 to 281 in the postseason.
Yes, absolutely not. He was a waste in the postseason. He was an overrated outfielder. The guy swung with one arm the last 4 years of his career.
Once he hit 20 home runs in one season, that's all he wanted to do.
That was it. It was just, and that was the juice ball year. So
most hated Yankee by me over the last 15 years.
Over Joey Gallo?
Joey Gallo wasn't on the team long enough for me to really hate him. He was on the team for what, a year? And he hit a home run in his first
it's like, so there's so many Yankee fans out there. I mean, let's just put it this way. Everybody who has a Gardner jersey is thrilled that there's a Volpe out there. So it's like, as long as you don't have a name on the back, you're good.
There were so many people who have the 11 jersey at Yankee Fantasy Camp that I just didn't understand.
I don't get. I mean, Listen, he was a nice guy. I mean, the stupid banging on the ceiling was just dumb. I could not. I wanted him gone so many years ago.
It's the
A guy
newest.
that
Everybody.
Cashman held on to long past when he needed to. He was a Cashman guy.
That's it.
He was a scrappy player. He was a scrappy player. Played style.
Like your voice?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
He chokes you up. That's it.
Yes, I got all choked
Thinking
up.
about him chokes you up.
The anger that we show towards Brett Gardner.
The two of us.
Brett Gardner, I'm gonna cry the way you guys are talking about Brett Gardner.
He's awful clamped. So you want a drink?
Anyhow, oh look, it's back. Now that we're done with Gardner, it's back.
Okay.
And then last but not least, the most controversial of all.
Wait, you didn't
A-Rod.
mention CC. You didn't mention CC, by the way.
I didn't mention CC. You're right. I should have mentioned CC. I don't know why I didn't think of him. What do you got about CC? Let's do CC before A-Rod.
CC. The problem with CC is also another thing. It's like one World Series.
Well, the year they brought him in to win, and he did.
Brought him in to win. I mean, listen, we might have that with Soto. But then, Soto's going to have 1 year with us, take us to a World Series, and then we're going to put a plaque up for him?
No, but CC stayed for 7 years or 8 years, whatever the hell he was.
11.
11 years he was
11
here.
years?
11 out of his 20 years.
And he wanted to be here.
He wanted to be here.
Stayed in
He
New
had
York
knocked out and they signed him just like they did A-Rod. So he went 134 and 88 as a Yankee with the 3.81 ERA. He's had 306 starts, 12 complete games. 2009, when he came to the team, he went 19 and 8.
Which is what you wanted here.
34 starts, never missed a start.
That was better than A.J. Burnett that year, wasn't it?
Yeah. 2010, he also made 34 starts. He went 21 and 7.
Is that the year he won the Cy Young?
He finished 4th in the Cy Young that year.
Holy cow.
Did he win?
He never won a Cy Young as a Yankee.
I thought he won one. No?
No. He finished 4th in 2009, 5th in 3rd in 2010, and 4th in 2011. He did get MVP votes every year, though.
What was his playoff record?
I got to go look at that. Give me a moment, sir. So CC in the playoffs for the Yankees, he went 3, 4, 5, 1, 7, 2.
All right, so then I got somebody else on top.
8 and 4 is the playoff pitcher for the Yankees, but in those first 2 years, he did win the MVP in 2009 playoffs in the ALCS.
Well, the problem is,
what was his record?
8 and 4.
That's it?
Yeah.
A lot of no.
He didn't pitch in 2017.
What was his ERA? Yeah, that was his alcoholism year. What was his ERA in the postseason?
Trying to figure it out. It's hard to do that. It was not good in 2010, 2011.
Listen, I think David Wells should have a spot, but that's a guy who wanted to be a Yankee. But listen, if you're going to sit there and go analyze all these guys from that 1 year in 2009, then you're putting Girardi in there.
No.
That was quick.
Oh, believe me, I know, but it's like one of those things. I mean, listen, I thought, I think Girardi cost him as many games as he won in the postseason. So,
just so you know about Wells had a 21 season career. How many years do you think he played on the Yankees?
5.
No, 3 or 4.
4.
No, then he doesn't.
Right, because Cashman dumped him for Clemens.
Oh, we didn't bring up Clemens.
Because they made that terrible trade for Clemens. After having like the best record ever, they take 3 guys and send them out for 1 player so Susan Waldman could.
Oh my goodness gracious, Roger Clemens.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. So that was like, but there was Wells could have had another 3 years on the Yankees if he got along with Torrey. And he wanted to be here. And anybody who wears Babe Ruth's hat to the pitcher's mound.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he got in trouble for that. That was good. I like that.
That's what you want baseball players to do, to recognize baseball for being baseball.
Okay. And last but not least, can we get to him now?
22
years a player, 12 as a Yankee. hit 283 as a Yankee with 378 on base and 523 slugging. His OPS plus as a Yankee was 136. 351 homers, 1,096 RBIs, 7 All-Star games, 2 MVPs, 2 Silver Sluggers. But
No.
he hit 223 in the postseason, except in 04 and 09, he was fantastic.
Well, he knew how to take a punch from Veritek.
He has the 8th highest WAR of any Yankee ever, 6th best slugging, 10th in runs scored, 6th in home runs, 11th in RBIs, 11th in stolen bases. Just so you know, and this is for Adam, A-Rod was 11th in stolen bases in all-time Yankee history, and Adam's favorite player as a Yankee was 12th all-time in stolen bases, Horace Clarke.
Why is Horace Clarke his favorite?
I don't know. But whenever we went to fantasy camp and they would say, who's your favorite player? Adam would always say, Horace Clarke. And I like to think that number 20 was retired, not for Posada, but for Horace Clarke.
Horace Clarke probably deserved it more. Horace Clarke would be blocked.
But for the steroids, you think? But for the steroids, absolutely. But never.
The steroids and the lawsuit against the Yankees, I think he gets.
No,
the lawsuit means he'll never get in for the Yankees ever.
No, it's
Listen,
no.
he was great for the Yankees, but it was on steroids. But
except
that he got suspended.
Don't you have some comments from your Facebook post?
Yeah,
that you wanted to read?
I gotta go find my Facebook. My Facebook closed. Hold on.
How could it close?
Because I looked at something else for something stupid you said.
Nobody's put anything on the app this time, Mike?
No, nobody's added anything to the app.
Ezra's other comment while he's here. You look it up, Rich. I'll play Ezra's other comment, then we'll call it a day.
Ezra here again. Now the people I don't want. Billy Martin, obviously. Lousy ball player. Good in the World Series. Interesting manager. 5 times fired. A nutcase. Obviously. Ask all the marshmallow salesmen out there. The other guys, these core 4 clowns. I don't get Pettit. I don't get Posada. Great players. Love them. Monument Park? No.
So Andy Pettit.
I would say Monument, not retired, but yes.
So Andy Pettit has the 3rd most wins of any Yankee all time. He's 3rd all time in WAR for pitchers, and he's 3rd in innings pitched. Plus, he won a lot of World Series, but he's got steroids over his head. He's an admitted user.
Yes. Yes, and it's a matter of how much you.
But he apologized, so it's all good.
Yeah. Was it him that said that? Clemens' wife shot him in the stomach with the whatever? One of those guys, whatever.
So if Soto stays as in number 22, do we say it's for Clemens also?
So what did you get from your Facebook page, Mr. Miller?
Oh, here. So let's see. So Brad Weinstein, high school buddy. He agrees that Alex is one of the greatest Yankees of all time, except for his multiple suspensions and suing the organization. It was a wonderful relationship. Mark Miller, our cousin. He's not a Yankee great. He's a great player that happened to spend time on the Yankees.
He doesn't have any comments about his drug use? Sorry, couldn't resist. We lost Richard on that one. Sorry, folks.
I didn't say
it. Family joke. Sorry.
Mark, I'm not the one who said it.
If you're listening, it wasn't us.
Wasn't us. Somebody it's a ventriloquist has Mike's mouth. Oh man, I thought my laugh was terrible. Holy crap.
All right, what other comments you got, Mitch?
I'm trying.
All right, can I say that Reggie Jackson does not deserve a plaque too, by the way, or his number retired?
I agree.
We'll change the comment.
I agree.
Let's change There's a couple
Larry Maher, another guy from high school. Some pluses for A-Rod. He was a better defensive shortstop than Jeter, but was willing to move to third base. But he was willing to move to third and was solid at that position.
He was
won 2 MVPs for the team and came up big in 2009 when they won the World Series, especially against Minnesota. I don't know. How did he hit in the World Series? I know he was great against Minnesota, but I don't remember in World Series he was being that great.
He was very good in that World Series.
Was he very good? Okay.
In 2009, yeah.
Then Larry goes into how they've gone overboard on retiring numbers, so they've cheapened the honor. He named several players.
By the way, he was only 5 for 20 in the World Series.
Yes. It became a political thing and public perception thing at this point. And since A-Rod's like Dave Winfield. Winfield put in almost 10 solid years with the Yanks, never won a World Series, but the same could be said about Mattingly. Frankly, Winfield falls short among the players who are great in their time but don't deserve to have their number retired. But Aaron Hicks does. It's not a good look for A-Rod to publicly campaign for it. He had his career, made a load of money.
Family
It'd be
show.
nice to be honored and appreciated, but it doesn't always work out that way. Fans never took to him, and they had players like Wells or Swisher or even Matsui. So don't appreciate any groundswell of report for A-Rod. And then Tracy Katzenberger, chiming in from Germany, who happens to be Hank Bauer's niece, somebody I worked with. And her comment is, maybe it's me, but I think if you have to ask to have your number retired, you don't deserve to have it retired. You don't deserve to have it retired. I think that is something the sport, the team, and the fans should be advocating.
I think that's a good point.
Yes. So, listen, A-Rod had some nice years for the Yankees, but between his steroid use, his full year suspension, his lack of postseason quality,
Except for one,
his ability to start a fight and wake up the team that they were playing it up 3-0 against and get that going, and then his lawsuit, absolutely not. And the comment just shows that he still doesn't get it.
Yeah, I don't.
Are of the same mold. They came here because they wanted to win. They wanted to win, and they couldn't do it on their own elsewhere.
I will say this though, if I own the team, which obviously I never will, he's the guy I would hire and get rid of Cashman.
He knows more about baseball and the tech aspects of baseball
and the history.
I think he balances. If you watch the K-Rod cast on ESPN, I think he does a great job.
He does
balancing the analytics with eyeballs.
I don't know if I would hire him to replace Cashman. I would definitely have him as an advisor.
Once you bring him in and you hire him, he gets his number retired. So it's worth not hiring him just for that.
Is that like when you give yourself a pardon? He's going to give himself a pardon?
Yes.
All right, we went over, but
yes.
By the way, wait a minute. There's
over the top.
Deserve a plaque to have one.
Oh, who doesn't deserve a plaque?
Well,
go ahead,
Roger Maris, we said, doesn't need one.
His accomplishment
just because
he's
plaque retired.
I think Don Larson and Maris go
together. A plaque
together.
for 61.
Right.
A plaque for 61, number not retired. Phil Rizzuto gets it, I guess, just for the 50 years all combined, right?
Yeah, and they should put it on the George Washington Bridge.
Yes, they should. They should. Yes.
Yeah.
Every game.
Just for the
non-Yankee fans, he announced for the Yankees for about 40, 50 years, and he was notorious for leaving early so that he could beat the traffic, and he would go home over the George Washington Bridge.
And if it was a thunderstorm, he left too.
Yes, he was afraid of lightning.
And he didn't get a no.
No.
Who?
Reggie Jackson. Bye-bye.
Reggie, absolutely not.
Ron Guidry. Bye-bye.
Really?
Yeah.
He did so much for the team for so long.
Ridiculously great year. He got it for longevity. He was.
I would say, I don't know about retired, and I love watching Guidry pitch, but definitely a plaque.
Yes.
Okay, so no, you're just saying no number retired.
No number retirement.
Okay.
I don't mind plaques honoring great players, but number retired is something really special, especially since the Yankees have so many numbers retired. They actually asked Major League Baseball if their coaches could no longer wear numbers.
Yeah.
Which has actually happened.
The fact that half the team is wearing numbers in the 80s at this point.
And the fact that the managers wear
numbers
hoodies
as coaches and managers anymore, because they said they all wear windbreakers. Nobody sees the number anyway.
Yeah. I didn't know what number Corey was for years.
You know what? I'm not even sure what number Boone is.
Isn't he 28?
Evidently, neither do you
29?
guys.
18?
I don't know.
Is he 28? Did he just?
No, that was what Girardi took.
Girardi?
Girardi took 28.
What number is Boone?
That's why they're saying it doesn't matter. They don't need uniforms.
I don't think he's 18.
I was thinking he might be. No, is he 19?
19 is what he wore.
19. He's 19. He's
Is he
19.
19? He wore 17 when he played.
He's 19.
Yeah, he's 19.
Should we retire his number because he had a home run to end the series?
Right. I mean, that's when you get these one-year guys who, take them to the World Series one time. He did more in that one hit than some of these guys did in their entire careers.
If that's the case, you got to retire Bucky Dent's number, right?
Yeah.
Oh, please. Don't. There's stories about him that cannot be told.
Why not? Nobody's listening, obviously. It's just us.
I already went down one path and it's going to get me in trouble.
That's going to get you in trouble. And
Only if
I'm going to be in trouble
it.
by association and laughing too hard.
I changed the subject.
Chicken. Anyhow, who else you got there, Todd? Hurry up. Let's go.
Oh, that's it on my list, really.
Rich, what do you got for
maybe?
For not retired numbers, Billy Martin, no.
Yeah, maybe not.
Billy Martin does not. He was a joke. He only won one World Series as a manager. Then you put Bob Lemon in. I mean, they're both alcoholics.
I don't think they're alcoholics anymore.
No. Tino.
Definitely not Billy Martin.
As much as I like Tino, he lives off of that one hit that I was at that game for game one.
Tino has his number retired?
Yeah.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Get a plaque?
O'Neill. I love O'Neill. I was at that last game at home in the 2001 World Series. Much as I love O'Neill and what he brought to the team and just the desire to win, the old school desire to win, but I don't know if he deserves to have his number retired. Bernie, we already discussed. Willie Randolph, he meant so much for the team. Again, plaque, not a retired.
Okay.
As much as it sucks. I mean, I like Willie, from what I don't know him, but
I had one of the best conversations about baseball I've ever had with a player when we did an event and Willie was there. The man, he
got shafted by Major League Baseball, but yeah,
he is a really smart baseball man. And
yes,
a really good guy.
Oh, he's a great. Seems like a really great guy. Again, another captain. He falls into the Greg Nettles category.
Okay.
So, Stottlemyre, somebody here, who is it? Brad on his comment said that Mel Stottlemyre didn't deserve to have his number retired, but those years as pitching coach with his years on the team, I don't know if it's retired, but definitely should have a plaque. Posada, clutch, worst catcher, fielding catch. I mean, he was just a step above Sanchez.
So that makes him second worst, not worst.
Yes.
Just
and then,
to do the math.
Then there's that guy Derek Jeter too. So I don't know. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
We went over. We were very stat heavy and stuff like that. That's my fault. But maybe we'll have you back. Maybe we won't.
Michael's just glad he's living on the West Coast now.
And that's, I'm not going to be invited to any family reunions anytime soon.
Lucky you. Lucky you.
Listen, I don't want to go to Todd's house ever. So.
What? Is anybody going to be at the bat mitzvah? Do I have to not go to the bat mitzvah now?
I don't know if Antina's listening. I'm sure Matthew is.
Okay.
He didn't put a comment in.
He didn't make a comment yet. I don't have anything. I don't have a text yet. So
yeah, he could have put a comment in on the voicemail if he wanted to. Yeah, forget
him.
We'll have him on one day. I'm gonna have Matthew on. We'll do a Mets Yankees thing.
Oh wait. Oh no, that's not him.
Okay.
All I got is you. You're scared of mom and dad now. So
yes, I am. All right, guys. I will speak to you soon. Have a nice life. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.